Someone possessing high EQ is more self-aware, more empathetic, a better listener, a better collaborator, a better communicator. In our personal lives, we see this as, say, being aware of our emotions and how they affect us, what triggers us, how to read our spouse, what they might be feeling. A high EQ allows us to be more vulnerable, to connect more meaningfully, and to bond more strongly, to be more present, a better, more considerate friend, to communicate better. And this is just as true in our personal lives as well. In fact, studies show that the single biggest predictor of performance in the workplace comes down to EQ. That if your skills base cannot talk productively, say, with one another, however bright, however high their IQ is, that the business outcomes are less than those attainable where the people work effectively with one another. And EQ then can be expected to make a significant bottom line impact. And so it's really the quality of our interpersonal relationships that determines the effectiveness of our organizational cultures. So a good example of this is Google's Project Aristotle, an initiative to determine what makes a great team. And they discovered that the best teams had members with or cultivated what we could define as very high EQ. They listened to one another better and showed more sensitivity to the feelings and needs of other team members. And what Project Aristotle taught people within Google was that no one wants to put on a work face when they get to the office. No one wants to leave a part of their personality and inner life just at home. They want to feel fully present at work and to feel psychologically safe. And we must know that we can be free enough sometimes to share the things that scare us or that make us feel afraid that we'll be judged. And so we must be able to talk about what's messy or difficult or sad between us. And you have to have these hard conversations with colleagues that may be driving us crazy or we're having a difficult time with. And so from that, we can't just be focused on efficiency. And so in psychology, researchers often refer to conversational turn-taking and average social sensitivity as aspects of what's known as psychological safety, which is defined as a group culture from Harvard Business School professor Amy Edmondson. And she defines it as a shared belief held by members of the team that the team is safe for interpersonal risk-taking. And so it's a sense of confidence that the team will not embarrass, reject, or punish someone for speaking up. And that describes a team climate characterized by interpersonal trust and mutual respect in which people are comfortable just being themselves. And the thing is that the behaviors that create psychological safety, conversational turn-taking, listening, and empathy are actually part of the same sort of makeup that we often use as individuals to establish a bond in our everyday lives. And so those human bonds we see matter just as much as anywhere else. And those are the muscles that we build at E.Q.i.P. to be able to trust, to be vulnerable, to communicate honestly, to listen, to get the attention off ourselves so as to really hear the other person. And then we bond, and then we work and live better. And it's the vulnerability to take those interpersonal risks within a feedback environment. And so what we can kind of conclude from this research is that we want to know our lives are in the workplace and with our spouses, teammates, and coworkers, that in those contexts, people really hear us. We want to know that work is more than just labor and that life is more than just getting by. And so when companies solely focus on just the analytics alone, sometimes it's easy to forget that success is often built on experiences like emotional interactions and complicated conversations and discussions.